I love being retired. I thought I did for a while. I wasn't sure what I was going to do when I retired, and it's sort of like, what are you going to do when you grow up as a child? And still as an adult, I still don't know what I want to do. I thought I wanted to be a surveyor, a land surveyor, so I went back to the community college for a year, and I was having trouble. I didn't have trouble with the math. I had an algebra class where I didn't have enough time to finish it, and I got really, really frustrated for a day, and I said, that's not what retirement's supposed to be about, frustration, so I quit. It was supposed to be fun.
I think the easiest way to explain pickleball is it's just another racket sport, a derivative of tennis or table tennis or badminton. It's played on a smaller court than a tennis court. Its dimensions are 44 by 20 with a tennis net. The game's played a lot like tennis, where you get one bounce of the ball. The equipment itself is smaller. It's played with a racket that's similar to a table tennis racket, a little bigger. It only weighs about 8 ounces. And the ball itself is a wiffle ball about the size of a baseball.
And I understand the name Pickleball came from the person that started it. His dog was Pickles, and Pickles would run after the ball when it went out of the court. And so that's how it got Pickleball.
If it were called Super Ball or Hero Ball or Wonder Ball, it probably would be the most popular sport in the country right now. But alas, it's named Pickleball, and it's going to stay that way forever, probably.
My husband is a survivor of cancer, and his multiple myeloma is terminal, and that he's had stem cell transplant, but he's made it through. So as well as that was awful, it has given us many opportunities that it wouldn't have, because he's gotten, from the VA, he's gotten total disability, so that's given us money that we wouldn't have had to do a lot of things we're doing. So at the one time, it's awful that he's, I don't know how long I'm going to have him, but at the other way, we've had a great time, and he is healthy right now.
202.
He's 6 years in remission. Well, yeah, 6 years out of stem cell at Duke. And he is playing pickleball 6 days a week now, and I cannot play 6 days a week. I don't have time. I do yoga on Mondays. I have basketball Monday nights. I do basketball on Thursdays. On Wednesdays, I do a sewing group. I'm doing quilts, and I just had a grandbaby 3 months ago. So we were called that her water's broken, and that she was going to the hospital, and went up. It's 3.5 hours to Norfolk, and then we waited all night, and just then they had monitors on Mom and the baby, and I went out to the nurse's station, and the monitors were all off, and I said she had her baby, and I walked by the room and I heard her cry, and I just went into tears. I mean, then I got to spend some time with her, and it's just the treasure of, you see your own children grow up, and you've been through all that, but this is something special, I guess, where you can give her back, but you can have her and enjoy her, and you see her in a different light, and to sit there and look at her and say, someday you're going to be a grandma, and it's like, whoa. And the possibilities for her future are just so enormous that it's almost hard to fathom.
And I have a grandson that I can't wait until he's old enough to pick up a racket, because I'll be teaching him all the games that I love.
age takes away things you don't expect it to, and your little brain says, oh, I can get that, and your body goes, oh no, it's not happening. And I think that's the hardest thing with all the sports at this age, is that your brain says, I used to be able to, and you used to be able to, and you just can't quite do it. Your reaction and your speed and your mobility and your agility is reduced. Last weekend or so, I went to a niece's wedding in northwest Atlanta, and there was a beautiful waterfall we went to, and there's 600 steps down, and it says strenuous and dangerous and all this. And I told my husband he couldn't do it because it would have been too much for him, and his brother moved the car. And so I went with my nephew, who's my son's age, 30, and his wife, and their grandson, who's 15, and me, down the hill. And Sunday I couldn't walk. My calves were killing me. Monday calves were killing me.
I'm always moving, sometimes too much for my own health, but that's how I've been all my life. You know, when I go and play, whatever it is, basketball, football, I always go all out. Sometimes I forget how old I am. See, my mind says yes, my body says no. I have a saying that, you know, real athletes play pickleball. So it is. I mean, if you think it's not a real sport, we'll challenge you. Come out or give it a try. That's all I can say. It is a real sport.
I'm actually a professional golfer, former professional golfer, and so I'm trying to fit the golf back in. Pickleball has just started again, and I'm anxious to see what happens with the golf club ball when I get back to the golf. I played the LPGA from 74 to 77, 4 years. My best finish on the LPGA tour was a second, and the girl chipped it in to beat me. But marriage was more important. And on the golf tour at that time, it's still very difficult to be married and travel, unless you both can travel and have a family. And have a family is virtually impossible. I even think now my knees, I've never had knee surgery or anything wrong with my knees, and at 65, you know, I'm still playing basketball, and I'm playing golf, and I'm playing pickleball. Pickleball is probably the hardest on my knees because you really have to get down to the ball low. I'm finding that's really a different position that I haven't been in a while. But I really attribute it to my golf because I walked for years because I didn't ride. You don't ride as a kid, you don't ride as a professional. So for, 25, 30 years I, walked, and I just really think that has been an advantage to my health because somebody said, well, how's golf bad? And I go, it's been good to me. Golf has been a really good thing where don't get too high or too low or you're in trouble because you've lost control. And I think the same way with the pickleball or anything else. I'm having a terrible time with pickleball learning to serve. I get my serve in, and it's only I hit the ball underhand into the court. And I'm playing it on my wrist from golf that I'm wristy. But I've tried I don't know how many different things, and one day I can play and maybe have only 2 misses, and I get really cocky, come back the next day and I miss 10 times. It's like, this is not good. So it's the controlling of the mind, and I think that, to control the body. I guess with having been a professional golfer, most of my competition for me is within me, against the golf course or whatever, and pickleball is the same thing. I'm still learning. I've just really started, and so it's learning to get better for myself in pickleball, and it's not necessarily winning. Where as a child or younger, it is winning. If you are winning is important. I started playing golf at 8, and I was playing against women at 12, and always it's good to beat an adult. I mean, as a child, it's something that you want to do. I remember beating my mom in golf. She said, you should. And I can remember so many ladies back then, about when I was 12, 13, 14, someday you're going to be good. Someday you're going to be good. And that was sort of irritating at the time because I knew I was already better than they were. But when you're 65, 66, I know who I am and what's important in my life, and winning is not necessarily it. So it's a different attitude, expectation.
I like sort of team games where it's you know, the consequences aren't severe. Most of the people who play here, you know, you lose, who cares? You know, no one takes it that seriously, and when someone does, you know, I think we sort of help them realize that it's not worth taking seriously. You make one good shot the entire game, you feel good after. You know, I never did that before.
Good shot, Cary.
It's my competition with me to do the best I can do in whatever the circumstances are and whatever life throws at you. You're going to have bad moments and you're going to have good moments, and enjoy both, or understand both, and move on. That you can't get cluttered in the process. Because, for sure, with the cancer, I mean, and people had said with remission that sometimes that's harder than going to the doctor every month or every 2 weeks or something, because you aren't seeing the doctor but every 3 months or 4 months. And okay, am I still in remission? I didn't know I had it in the first place. So how do I know I haven't got it back? And like with my husband's multiple myeloma, it is terminal. They do not have a cure. And so when is that day going to become when we turn the corner and have to take more meds again, or have to rely on something else? And that could debilitate me if I wanted it to, but I don't go there. I don't let that be a part of my life.
You guys want to play a game?
Judy Meister, 65 years old.
My name is Joe Borelli. I'm 60 years old.
My name is Luis. I'm 68 years young.
I'm Jared Kratzer. I'm 70.
My name is John Buben. I will never see 70 again.
I got one.